Whenever I'm here at the farm, I'm always happy when I'm carrying out my work, the feeding of the chicken, and then collecting of the egg, and then also mixing their feed. I'm always happy when I'm looking at these birds, and then also interacting with my clients, and then selling the eggs. All that gives me fulfillment. But the major content of this video, I want to talk about how you can become successful in poultry farming. Number one, if you want to become successful in this business, poultry, you have to make sure that you take care of the feeding of these birds, because as we all know, feeding these chicken, it takes around 80% of the expense that you incur at your farm. So you have to make sure that you take care of this feeding your chicken. You have to make sure that you get yourself a feeding formula which is so cheap and which is going to work, because you may want to cut on the cost of this feed, and when you're feeding your birds poor quality of the feeds, and these birds are not going to let your feeds are of poor quality. So you have to make sure that you know and learn how to take care of these feeds. For example, when the maize is a lot on the market, try and make sure that you have saved some money and you stock maize when this maize is very cheap. It's going to help you to stay in business when the price of maize goes high. So if at all you do not have the money, I always discourage people from taking a loan. But at this point, if you do not have money, please, you can go and take a loan and make sure that you have this maize stocked. This way, when time comes, and I have discovered that when the price of maize go high, the price of eggs go low. So at this point, if you do not have this maize stocked, your cost of production is going to be high, and then your sales are going to reduce, and here you will not break through. And at this point, most farmers, especially the small scale farmers, run out of business. So if you want to be successful and stay in this business, please make sure that you take care of this, and then also get yourself a cheap formula. Let me give you an example of myself here at my farm. When I had started this poultry farm, because I approached some farmers, and because most of farmers are so selfish, no one gave me the right feeding formula. They gave me a formula which was so expensive, so I would only work when the price of maize is so low, and whenever the price of these feeds go high, I could even go to the account to withdraw money which I had saved already, and then I had to top up in order to buy the feeds. So the feeding formula, it was expensive, it wasn't working for me. I never made the expected money which I was supposed to be getting from this poultry farm. But right now, the formula which I have here is favorable, and you can imagine the person that I asked then is the same person who gave me this formula that is favorable. So you can imagine how these farmers can be so selfish, and they do not want to share the information. And then another thing, if you want to be successful in this poultry farming, be open to new ideas. It is only change that is constant, and each and every day new things are coming. You may find that the way we were doing things 5 years ago, it's not the same way we are doing those things right now. So if you do not change with change, you're going to find yourself that you're backward. I've come to realize that most farmers do not want to adopt to new ideas. And I want to tell you that each and every day, people are doing research, new technology is coming up, and things are changing. So you have to make sure that if you want to be successful, you have to be doing research such that you're informed and you're not left out. For example, let's talk about the feeding. Long time ago, or long ago, we were only using natural feeds to feed these birds. But right now there is concentrate, and we have come to see that whenever we use this concentrate, the percentages of production are so high. So if you're there and you do not want to change, you will find that you're left alone, you're left out. And what amuses me is that whenever people come up with new ideas, new innovations, these other farmers are fighting them. They say that this one you're lying, you're going to mislead people, when in actual sense you know very sure that according to your research that you have done, this thing has worked. For example, if you treat your birds, let's say cough, and it doesn't heal, and then you and then from your research you get to know that if you can use ginger or you can use garlic and then red pepper, you're going to treat this cough. Or else if you can use the ash, you're going to treat this cough. Why not use it? In most cases, we buy a lot of these antibiotics. What you have to know, these people, these vets who come to your farm to treat these diseases, you have to know that they are having a drug shop somewhere, and they want customers for their medicine. So you will find that they are prescribing a lot of medicine which is not even necessary, when in actual sense they are making market for their business at home or somewhere. So if you're there and you're not wise, you will find that you're just supporting these people, which is costing you at your farm, because you will find yourself buying a lot of medicine which is unnecessary, and then this one is going to affect your profits. It's going to affect your profits. So if I can use the ginger and garlic and then treat this cough, why not use it instead of spending too much money on buying these unnecessary antibiotics? So we have to make sure that as farmers, we are open to new ideas, and then we adopt new things that are coming up, because God gave us knowledge and wisdom and we have to use it. For example, even COVID came up and there was no medicine at all, and people were coming up with this, coming up with the other. Everyone was trying to come up with a medicine that could treat this COVID. There came up one doctor who came up with Covidex, and this Covidex treated COVID like nothing, and everyone was running for it. This was through him being innovative, and he did a lot of research about it, and it worked and it saved us. Please, farmers, if you want to be successful in poultry farming, be open-minded. Another thing that you have to do, make sure that you take care of diseases. From day one, when we get the birds, you have to make sure that your biosecurity is tight. And when we talk about biosecurity, even these people who come to our farms are inclusive, because they are the people who carry diseases from wherever that they are coming from to our farms. So please make sure that you do not allow each and everyone to come to your farm. And you know how much these people like coming to see what is happening, and even friends, they always want to come and see how the chicken look like. But please do not allow these people to come to your farm. They are going to carry diseases to your farm. For example, I receive many calls of people who want to come at my farm, but I do not allow. Why? They will they will want to come see how the chicken are, how they look like, because these chicken are good to look at. But then it will cost me. They may bring diseases to my farm, of which I'm going to spend a lot of money in order to make sure that I chase away this disease or these diseases from my farm. Because it has ever happened. 2 months ago, I had an outbreak at my farm, and it has cost me a lot. I spent a lot of money in order to cure this cough from my farm, and also production reduced, and it is so hard to raise production up to the percentage which they were before they got sick. So please do not allow each and everyone, and if they must come, for example, the veterinary doctors who have to come and check on your birds, please make sure that you have gumboots, and then also an overall, and have a disinfectant in place, such that before they enter your farm, you give them your boots and then your clothes, and make sure that you spray them properly, because these veterinary doctors visit many farms, and you never know what is happening on at those farms wherever they are coming from. So they are the people who carry diseases to your farm. So if you do not want diseases at your farm, make sure that you have all these things in place such that you're sure that your boots are clean and then your clothing are clean. This way you'll be sure that your birds are not going to be affected. And then another thing that you have to do, please make sure that you give your chicken time. Actually, these birds, you have to look at them individually. You have to give time to each and every bird, special care. When we had an outbreak at the farm, I learned a lot because after we had done everything, because these birds got sick for 2 months, and within those 2 months, we did each and everything with the veterinary doctors. They prescribed the medicine. We even injected these birds, but the situation was so terrible, and they could not get cured. At this point, I was seeing myself going to make a huge loss, because even the veterinary doctor himself is the one who gave me an advice that I should sell off this chicken. But farmers who are watching me, you know what it means to look after these birds from day one up to the point of lay, because these birds of mine, they had just started laying because they had only laid for only 2 months. And here the vet is telling me, is advising me to sell the birds. According to him, he was right, because he had done everything to the birds and the birds could not get cured. So what did I have to do? Because I was seeing myself making a very huge loss which I would never recover. And who knows, by this time I would be in the brooder trying to raise the other birds. Because I even brought here the people to buy the birds, but they said that the birds were so young and they could not buy them because the meat would not be preferred on the market. What I did, I have to give these birds my time. I gave it my all. I would enter in the night, because we know when the birds are coughing, we hear it in the night. So at night, I would just enter and move out each and every bird that was coughing, and I treat it. However much the birds were so many, but I was left with no option. That was the only thing that I had to do, to move out all the birds that were coughing and sneezing and treat each and every bird individually. Thank God I managed to take care of the situation, but then after that, production would not go back to normal. Actually, after that, production stopped at 50%. I would see myself with this percentage of production making very small profits. So I wouldn't even sit and be comfortable at that percentage of 50%. I had to do something, and all this comes with the point of taking care of the birds and giving them your time. So at this point, I had to check these birds, and I checked the birds which were not laying at that time. And I had to isolate them such that I can be able to give them special care in order for them to be able to lay again. And at this time, I want to tell you that production went back normal because of the time that I gave to these birds. So please, farmers, if you want to be successful, make sure that you give your birds time. Be there at the farms, see how these birds are laying. Enter your chicken house and you see if your birds are happy or if they are sick. Because if you notice the disease in your birds and you're able to treat it on its early stages, you're not going to find problems. Be there and see how these people are mixing the feeds, because also the feeds, if they do not mix it well, it is going to affect your production. Please do not be mobile farmers. So thank you so much for watching me. If you're new on this channel, my name is Lillian and this is Kevara Farm. Please subscribe to this channel, and if you like this video, please like it, share it to your friends, people who are interested in poultry farming. Don't get this information alone, and please Ask me in the comment section about each and everything. I'm willing to answer you. And don't forget to tell me where you're watching me from. So thank you so much for watching me. Bye bye. Let me see you in my next video.